In this lesson I'm going to show you how to make this tension set forged ring for a large oval stone. Check it out. The body of the ring is going to be made with this stock gauge sterling silver that's 4.5mm square by 45mm long. The setting is going to be made with this 1.5mm sterling silver sheet that's just over 7mm wide by 30mm long. Keep your fingers well away and just work one half, then we'll turn it round. So try and keep it as even as possible and just keep checking on the thickness. I've got 3.5mm. Okay, the first stage is done now, and I've got 3mm on the ends there. It's a little bit thicker in the middle, but we're going to be doing a lot more work on this area here shortly. And just try and keep the piece dead square to the stake, otherwise you will create that shape that's really awkward to get rid of later on. So just very carefully keep turning it over. Look at the shape as well, so you can see when it's on the set square that it is pretty square still, so just check yours. Just have a look if it's getting to be the right shape. So that's the size there, and it seems to be hugging that curvature correctly, so I'll turn it around and work on the other side, or the other end. And I'm quite far down the mandrel at the sharper end, so if it is a tighter curve, that's so easy to budge it up the mandrel to get the right size later on. Just clamp one end, and you can either use draw tongs or a large pair of pliers to twist it over, or you can just hammer it over. Looks okay. Just going to file them flat so that I get a nice tight joint. So now I can just get the ends together by hammering it on the flat stake. And to do this project, I'll just bump up the gas a bit. To do this project, you don't really need a mini torch. It's not exactly precision soldering you'll be doing. So if you've got a Orca torch, that'll do the job nicely. And it's going to be a lot of work around the joint here, so there's a chance it might split open. If so, just resolder it and get back on the mandrel. To hold it, and it doesn't matter if I damage this part here, that's all going to be cut out, but I need to make the two sides parallel as they come up, and then use the stone to judge where how much of a gap there should be. So try and keep the sides dead straight. I use my hammer now to close the gap up. There we go. It also tells me in these pliers that the walls are parallel. So just line it up, and then I'll get my scalpel. Got to make sure that I'm putting it or marking it dead straight, not angled off. Cut slightly inside that so I can file up a bit later. I also need to angle my cut to follow that line there at the side. Okay, that's fitting better, but at this stage you need to be absolutely certain that it will be the right size when it's done, because you cannot size these rings later on. At least 2mm exposed on top. So if you've got an extra deep pavilion on your stone, then leave a little bit more on top. You can always file it down later. Limit the amount of heat that travels down towards the bottom part of the ring, because that's where, as I said before, that's where the tension will come from. And I've got plenty of solder here that I'm placing onto the joints. And okay, the solder's run. Just add a bit more, and I'll turn the ring around so we can get to the other joint. There we go. Okay, before you pickle it, just turn it upside down, make sure that the solder is run all the way through. More than enough, I will file it down later. So I'll put a little mark across there and chop it off. So always cut outside your line and then file up. You can see I'm quite a bit away from that line. So it should be the case that when you lay the stone on top, then the ends of the stone should just about come to the outer part of the setting. So it should look something like that. So now I'll just file the right shape into the bottom of the setting. I'll do this very carefully because it's very easy to file the wrong angle to this part. So take your time. Now you don't want to reduce the width on top if you can help it. So I'm not going to round this off. I think it looks pretty neat being so flat and square. So I'll leave it as is, which means that you can't. Okay, and try and cross direction as best you can. Has got plenty of clearance. And later on, when you put it on a mandrel, what you don't want is for the stone to come into contact with the mandrel. So you can see that I've got plenty of room there. Try and stay on the line and get the angle of the burr correct. So that's the start of the cut. I've got plenty of thickness there to drive the burr in, so that it's around about 2/3 of the way into the thickness. And we'll keep going. You can see how deep in I am, and I'm going to need to go even deeper. And I'll just show you, if I line it up with the shaft, where the shaft meets the teeth of the burr, like so, you're on like that, just tilt it slightly. Like so, and just cut away at the bottom part. This is a little bit more creative, making the right shape, but Still works. You've got to get pretty much the same shape as that, but we'll have to nibble away bit by bit. You can see how much easier it is with the heartburst, so if you can get used to that, then it's definitely the way to go. Now, I'm going to hit the ring on my polishing motor in a minute, but just to do the detail and not polish off the edges, I'll push on because I want to keep those sharp edges. Tighten the setting up again just to give it maximum spring or tension, and again, now if you're working with a soft stone, be very careful because it is taking quite a bit of force to get the stone into place. And here we go, we'll see how that looks now. So although it's got a little bit of a rock to it when I pull it around like that, it's not going to come out. It's really firmly in there, so I'm not overly concerned, and it is straight as well, so it doesn't feel as though it can tilt off that way and that way. Check the finger size, so I've actually got the correct finger size there as well, and also you need to check to make sure that the pavilion of the stone doesn't make contact with the ring stick, and there's good clearance there, so I'm happy with that. So now I'll just give it a final polish. A couple of scratches from putting the stone in. Now you could round the top off if you wanted to. I quite like the squared look, so I'm going to keep it like this. Polish all around the setting, and then I'll go back onto the polishing motor and just rouge, put it on the rouge mop and give it a high polish. And there we have it, set, polished and finished. Hope you enjoyed.